Forget lions. Forget elephants. Forget every so-called king of the jungle. The most successful animal on Earth is 2 to 8 millimeters long, and right now, there are more of them alive than every wild bird and every wild mammal on the planet combined. That's not an exaggeration. It's a measurement. In 2022, researchers combined data from 489 separate studies, spanning every continent, every biome, every habitat on Earth, and arrived at a number that barely fits in the mind. 20 quadrillion, 20,000 trillion ants alive on this planet right now. Run that against the human population, and it comes out to roughly 2.5 million ants for every single person alive today. We didn't build the largest civilization on Earth. We just built the loudest one. And it isn't one species pulling that number, it's more than 13,800 of them, formally described, with new ones still being found. Ants have colonized rainforest canopies, open deserts, mountain slopes, and the floor of your kitchen, nearly every land habitat where anything survives at all. Different species solved that problem in wildly different ways. Some build towering mounds with their own built-in air conditioning. Some live their entire lives inside a single hollow acorn. Some never build a permanent home at all. If evolution is a test of adaptability, ants haven't just passed it. They've been acing it for something like 140 million years. And what they build without their bodies is just as strange. Some ant and termite mounds function as living climate systems, networks of tunnels and chambers that passively regulate airflow, temperature, and humidity, keeping conditions inside remarkably stable no matter what's happening outside. Nobody is designing these structures. Each worker follows a simple local rule, reacting to the material and the pheromone signals already there. And an entire climate-controlled structure emerges from thousands of individually simple decisions. Engineers now study that same principled building complexity from simple local rules, with no blueprint and no foreman to design self-regulating architecture for humans. Some species take specialization even further. Weaver ants build nests by pulling leaves together into a tight seam, and when the gap is too wide for one ant to bridge, workers link their own bodies into a living chain to haul the leaves closer. Then, instead of using glue, they carry their own larvae to the seam and gently tap their heads, prompting each larva to produce a thread of silk, stitched back and forth until the leaf is sealed shut. Break and in the desert, honeypot ants solve food storage differently. Certain workers are fed nectar until their abdomens swell to several times their normal size, and then they simply stop moving. They hang from the ceiling of the nest like living jars, and when food runs out, the colony feeds on them, drop by drop, for months. Nature didn't give ants factories or refrigerators, it gave them each other. Here's where it gets stranger. An ant colony isn't really a group of individuals cooperating, and it isn't really a single organism, either biologically. It behaves like something in between. Researchers studying colony growth and survival treat an entire nest the way you'd study one animal. It eats, it grows, it has something like a metabolism. And like the cells in a body, almost none of the workers inside it can survive alone for long. A queen isn't a monarch giving orders. She's closer to a shared reproductive organ for the whole structure. And if she dies, break for many species, that's not a death sentence. The colony simply raises a new one from within. And life continues, because the colony was never really about her to begin with. So how does something with no brain and no leader coordinate at all? Break chemistry. Break ants lay down pheromone trails, invisible chemical signatures, every time they travel. And every other ant that crosses that trail can read it. Food this way, danger that way, keep going, turn back. It's less like a chain of command, and more like a shared nervous system laid across the ground, updated constantly by thousands of individual ants at once. No single ant knows the plan. The trail is the plan. Individually, though, ants are still doing things that shouldn't be biologically possible. The trapjaw ant snaps its mandibles, shut it up to 145 miles an hour, generating over 100,000 times the force of gravity in a single strike, fast enough that the recoil alone can launch the ant backward through the air as an escape maneuver. Then, in 2018, researchers found something even faster. The Dracula ant doesn't spring its jaws open like a trap. It presses its mandibles together first, loading them with internal tension, then releases that tension like a finger snap. The result, 200 miles an hour, more than 5,000 times faster than the blink of an eye. It's the fastest self-powered movement ever recorded in any animal on the planet. Not the cheetah, not the peregrine falcon, an ant you've almost certainly never heard of. And speed isn't even the strangest thing they've mastered. Long before the first human city, leafcutter ants had already invented agriculture. Somewhere between 50 and 60 million years ago, tens of millions of years before our species existed, their ancestors began farming fungus. Deliberately, modern leafcutter colonies cut leaves not to eat them, but to feed an underground fungal crop, which they fertilize with nitrogen-fixing bacteria and protect using their own antibiotic-producing bacteria, grown directly on their bodies like a built-in pesticide factory. That's a full agricultural supply chain: harvesting, fertilizing, pest control, processing, running underground, in total darkness, for longer than most of Earth's mountain ranges have even existed. But the clearest proof that ants are already winning is what one single species did to the map. The Argentine ant is native to a narrow strip of South America, yet genetic testing has found colonies in California, colonies in Japan, and colonies along the Mediterranean coast that, when researchers introduced them to each other in a lab, didn't fight. They cooperated instantly, as if they'd never been apart. Scientists now describe this as one intercontinental megacolony. Trillions of ants, spanning 3 continents, functioning as a single cooperative superorganism. Outside of human civilization itself, it is the largest cooperative animal society ever documented on Earth, and we didn't build it on purpose. We built it by accident, one shipping container at a time. Ants don't just build with material, sometimes they build with themselves. Army ants of the species Eciton hamatum form living bridges out of their own bodies, locking legs together across gaps in the forest floor so the rest of the colony can cross without breaking stride. No ant in that bridge knows how big the gap is or how many ants are needed. Each one simply reacts to the ants around it, hold position if traffic is heavy, peel off and rejoin the raid if it thins out, and a structure exactly the right size assembles itself, then disassembles the moment it's no longer needed. Researchers studying this now borrow the same logic to design swarms of simple robots that can build structures with no one in charge at all. Now, before this starts to sound like ant propaganda, let's clear up a few things people get wrong. You've probably heard an ant can lift 50 times its own body weight. That figure gets repeated constantly, but it's inconsistent across species, and often exaggerated real load capacity varies enormously depending on the ant and the task. The idea that a whole colony collapses the moment its queen dies. Also mostly false, as we just covered. And the claim that carpenter ants eat the wood they tunnel through. Also wrong, they chew it up and discard it. They don't digest it at all. Ants don't need the myths. The real biology is strange enough without them. And we're still finding new pieces of that biology, right now. In April of 2026, researchers in the Arizona desert documented something never recorded in any insect before. Tiny cone ants climbing onto, and even into the open jaws of giant harvester ants, grooming them while the much larger ants stayed completely still and calm. It's the first confirmed case of interspecies grooming ever recorded in an insect. That same year, biologists showed that weaver ants use something like a mechanical ratchet, locking tension as a group to roughly double how efficiently they can pull together. And engineers, studying how ant colonies route around foraging traffic jams with no central control at all, started borrowing that same logic to help self-driving cars avoid gridlock. We've been studying ants for centuries. Break, we're still not done. So here's the actual scoreboard. By population, ants outnumber humans roughly 2.5 million to 1. By biomass, they outweigh every wild bird and every wild mammal on Earth combined. They've farmed for 50 million years, built cooperative societies spanning continents, and clocked biomechanics faster than anything else alive. all without a brain bigger than a grain of sand. Without a single central leader, and without a single blueprint. If dominance on this planet is measured in numbers, in reach, in staying power, and not in who tells the best story about themselves, ants didn't need to win the planet. Break, they already have it. Break, we're just the ones still catching up to that fact. This isn't a hypothetical. It's a running tally, updated in real time, in soil beneath your feet. So next time a line of ants crosses your kitchen floor, you're not looking at a nuisance. You're looking at a fragment of a 20 quadrillion strong civilization that's been quietly running this planet's real economy since long before we ever showed up. And it has no plans of stopping anytime soon.